Welcome to the Karen Kenney Show. Hey, you guys, welcome to the show. I'm wicked excited to share with you a conversation that I had with my guest this week. Now, some of you might know who she is, especially if you're kind of in the spiritual community and you're into Oracle decks, like card decks and stuff like that. You might know who she is. But for those of you who don't, I'm just going to share with you some of her bio and stuff like that. So Colette Baron-Reid is an internationally respected author of 8 books. She's an educator, she's a spiritual intuitive and medium, and she is an oracle expert. She's published 19 oracle decks, and they have sold over 2 million copies, which is just like crazy. Her best-selling books and oracle cards have also been published worldwide into like 27 different languages. She's the founder of the Oracle School, which is a global online learning platform. It has students in 35 countries, and it's all about it brings together empowerment, co-creation, and ancient oracles, but in a modern and contemporary way. She's also the creator of the energy psychology technique called Envision, the total mind shift process. She divides her time between Canada and the United States with her husband, and she has 3 funny little Pomeranians. And you guys, if you stick around to the very end, you're going to get to see, oh my God, you're going to get to see one of her little teeny tiny Pomeranians. It is worth sticking around for just that. But our conversation is fantastic. What we're really talking about is her new book. And first of all, actually, let me just hold up. If you, these are 2 of her best-selling Oracle deck cards. This is the Wisdom of the Oracle, and then this one is the Spirit Animal Oracle, which is like one of my favorite decks of all time. You know me, I love animals, and it's also really beautiful. The artwork in these is like gorgeous. Okay, so what we were really talking about on my show today is her new book. It's called The Art of Manifesting. And this is a meditative drawing practice to rewire your brain and create your reality. It's so fantastic. It brings together neuroscience, spirituality, and creativity. I think this is such an incredible thing. I love this book. I've been doing my own drawings and stuff, which you'll see if you watch the show. And this might be an episode, P.S., where you want to watch it instead of listen to it. You'll still get a lot from it if you listen to it, but there's going to be times where I'm like holding up drawings, and it will make more sense if you can just see what the frig I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But Colette was lovely. I think we had a great conversation, and she co-authored this book with another fellow artist because Colette is also an artist named Anna Denning. And I just think it's really cool. And why I wanted to talk about this book in particular with her is that I haven't always been a fan of manifesting. I think the way that it's talked about and taught is kind of screwed up. It's kind of suspicious. It's a little suspect. And I didn't really like where so much of the quote unquote spiritual community, like how they talk about it. So we kind of get into that. And I thought this was a really fascinating and interesting way, an angle to come at it by, a different way of looking at things. And I think you're going to enjoy the conversation. She's a delight. We had so much fun chatting, and I'm just so happy to share this with you. So enjoy. You don't even really have to buckle up for safety. Nothing big, nothing bad or major happened. But we had a lot of fun, good high energy. And like I said, I think you're going to really enjoy learning about it. And she also has a workshop coming up that if you're curious about this, definitely check it out because I think you'll find it really fun. And there's a short little 15-minute video that she offers. It's kind of like doodling your way out of anxiety that I participated in because I wanted to see the effects of it myself, and I thought it was really fantastic. So, having said all that, you guys, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you really enjoy this episode in this conversation with Colette Baron-Reid. Hey, welcome to the Karen Kenney Show, you guys. I am wicked excited. I'm so excited today to share my fantastic, beautiful, wonderful, brilliant guest with you, Colette Baron-Reid. If you listened to the intro, you already heard her incredible, impressive bio and all of that stuff. But first and foremost, let me just say, Colette, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being here.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. And I lived in New Hampshire for quite a while, and I love hearing the wicked.
Oh.
My housekeeper would say, "Oh, that's just wicked cool." We're like, wicked good. I loved it. So you're making me homesick.
Oh
I
my
love New
gosh.
England. I
I
love New
know.
England.
I know. I'm so happy to have you here. And I was laughing because I was looking on your website and you basically kind of go through like all the things you do. And like you, I'm also a multi-passionate. I'm a writer, a speaker, yoga, like a bunch of spiritual mentor, a bunch of different things. But you jokingly say, I put here, so even though you joke that you're actually unemployed, my joke is always I'm unemployable outside of my own employment, right? You know what I mean? But really, the reality is you're actually wicked successful, and
Yes,
so
I am.
you've done so much. And for some people who may not like just know you off the jump, I just want to hold up a couple of things. So number one, you have 19 Oracle decks, like over 2 million sold, which is
Now
crazy.
that's over 20 years. Okay,
And
let's see.
still though, okay, you can quantify, but like look at so
Yeah,
these are my two favorites of yours. We were just talking about this. So the
yeah.
Wisdom Oracle deck and then the Spirit Animal one. This is you just said became possibly the best-selling one of all
They're
of you.
both, those two, it goes back and forth. They're the most
Yeah,
popular,
yeah.
is Spirit Animal. And I'm kind of excited because Spirit Animal came because of my dad. My dad taught me about spirit animals. He was Serbian, and it's part of Slavic folklore, is almost identical to North American indigenous
Indigenous.
folklore.
Mhm.
It's so weird. They're like sisters and brothers. And so yeah, my dad taught me all about that when I was my early teens. So it's really exciting because every time I hear that, I go, Daddy.
Oh my God. That does touch my heart too. It makes me so happy because I think these days, and we can not to go off on a segue from the stat, but
Woo!
like we're really lacking elders, I think. It's so wonderful that part of your culture and your history got passed down from your dad to you, and then through you and your decks to like so many people. I think that's incredible. But you kind of hit on a point that I always jump off on when I have a guest on the show. I do mostly like 90% solo shows. I only have a guest on like every few months. So I always say you have to be
Hey, thank you.
yeah, no, but I say that because I have to be either like wicked curious about a person or I love their work or I think they're doing great work and I want to spread it around. But the question I always ask people that I have on, and you mentioned your dad was, it's a twofold question. Number one,
Sure.
what were you like as a kid? And did your childhood, do you think, in any way influence, inform, or inspire the work that you do now?
Okay, so I think that when the doctor slapped my ass to wake me up, I slapped them right back, right? So that's what I was a curious, very rebellious little kid. I was always talking. I when in grade nursery school, in kindergarten and grade one, I remember always being sitting outside the classroom because I was talking too much, right? So I was very chatty Cathy here. And already when I was a really small kid, I had these experiences of knowing things I shouldn't know without prior knowledge. Just because I knew who was on the phone, I knew what my mom's, bridge lady's husband was doing. I don't know. I just knew random things. And when I was little, actually, I could think of one thing. Our nanny, Mrs. Kelly, she was a Scottish nanny, really heavy Scottish brogue. She must have been in her early 80s, curly, permed hair, and she had like a frog in her throat all the time, like she like kind of burped. But anyway, so she would have her friends over and read their cards when they would come over. And she was a psychic, like totally for real. She just could not cook for beans. Ugh. But anyway, so my parents would go off to their parties and there would be Mrs. Kelly. And my older sister didn't pay much attention, but I paid a lot of attention to this. But I remember one time she was telling my mom, we used to have one of these doors that swang in and out of the kitchen into the dining room.
Mhm.
And I heard her telling my mom that I had the sight in a very, your daughter has the sight I know you're not allowed to make these, like you can't do the accents anymore. I get it, but whatever. I did a good one. So imagine Scottish accent. And my mom was upset and I didn't know why she would be upset because I was so far the only one in the family who didn't wear glasses. So when I hear her saying she has
Yes.
the sight, that's good, right? But so my childhood, you know, was really feeling too much, but really, but I saw fairies in the garden, and I know I did, and they were ugly little things. And they weren't pretty. They weren't like the ones we see like Tinkerbell with fluffy sprinkly things. They were like mad that I could see them. One of them was like, I'll never forget it. It was a big fat dragonfly like thing. And it was like it came out of the bushes at me and it looked right at me. And I'll never forget that. It happened to me maybe 2 or 3 times, and Mrs. Kelly knew. So I told her, and she told me not to say anything, like don't tell your parents. But then she told me that it was she called it a thistle, something, not a thistle fairy, but I forget. But anyway, I was like really excited, and then it never happened again. But it was, I would see odd things, here and there. Fast forward to where I am now. Okay, doing what I do for a living, I believe that curiosity is a superpower.
Yes.
I believe that. I
Yes.
believe, and so I was always a little budding artist back then too. So my mom would love my little silly drawings of mice and things. But I also know that like finger painting, like you have to create like you're 5, right? And so, right now with my book, The Art of Manifesting, it's all about that, about bringing that little being forward, and it's letting go our tight hold on you, because I never had attachment to outcomes when I was a kid. It was always about, and we didn't have tablets, right? I'm
Sure.
going to be 68, right? So we had no internet. Like when kids went out, you go out to play and be back by a certain
Yeah,
time.
they just kicked you out of the house and like fend for
Bye.
yourself and whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're answering like, several of my questions that I had because, in your bio it's like, oh, I'm a spiritual, intuitive and medium, and I'm like, okay, for a lot of people, those gifts, those talents or abilities show up in your younger years.
It's
So
just,
you
yeah,
were, yeah, you were aware of your gifts back then, and it sounds like you were just really open and creative. And that's the thing. Like I was
yeah,
a kid who loved to draw, loved to make marks on paper. I think we've always loved to make marks on paper. Like I
right.
remember when I traveled to Egypt with my dear friend and spiritual godmother Marianne Williamson, and we went, and the first time I saw the hieroglyphics and like Sekhmet and
Those
like
are
the
mark
pyramids, I
making.
was like, oh my God. I just feel like I've, been here before. Like we've
Yeah.
been making marks on stone and whatever. Like those were the original tablets, right? Like back in the day. It's like so incredible. But one of the things that I love about what you're sharing, you already said a couple of things, but oh, what I was going to say about that
Yeah.
though is even though I loved to draw as a kid, I was a kid who liked to draw inside the lines. Like
Oh yeah.
I was one of those little like, liked everything neat perfectionist kids. So I always love when I meet kind of the wild, free, abandoned kids who are just like, just go crazy and scribble. I think it's so cool. But one of the things that I love about the work that you're doing, and this book is so fantastic. You guys, I'm holding up Colette's new book. It's The Art of Manifesting, a meditative drawing practice to rewire your brain and create your reality. I love that you can see I've mocked it up. It's pretty cool.
Yes, I love it.
We're going to dive into this in 1 second. But one of the
Sure.
things I wanted to
Yeah.
say is, in order to get ready for this, um, as a kid who loved to draw, like you could just always find me at the table with like crayons and markers and my pads of
Yeah.
paper, whatever, trying to recreate like Charles Schultz Snoopy or like whatever we're
Right,
doing,
right,
right?
right.
Is that so to prepare for this, I signed up for 3 of your different events.
Oh,
So I
cool.
did, yeah. And the reason why I'm doing this is this also goes on YouTube. And before we start kind of talking about the process, I just wanted
Perfect.
to show people kind of like what it might look like from somebody who had never done it before, just like them, right? So I did Doodle Your Way to Calm, Clarity, and Joy, the one you did with Mindy Peltz.
Oh, with Mindy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that was my first one that I did with you guys when I was
Oh,
just
yeah,
learning.
yeah.
I was like, okay, that was really cool. Then I did a new way to vision board. You just did that in
Right.
January because I
Yeah.
had thoughts about vision boarding and how I felt about vision boarding, but this I'm going to tell you why. I want to dive into this
Yeah.
process. This one, I thought this was so cool. I haven't finished it, but what I loved about this, we'll discuss in a minute because I want you to kind of break down some of the elements. And then I also just did the fantastic meditation on anxiety relief, the spiral
Oh,
reset
the
meditation.
squiggly one.
Yeah, I just did that
Oh,
one.
isn't that fun?
This one was wicked fun too. and I loved it. So those of you who are listening to this at home, if you're not watching, hop over to YouTube so you can see these drawings because it's so, not that my drawings are fantastic, but
No,
I
you,
want you to have an
you
idea, right? I want the listeners to have an idea of kind of like what we're talking about. But to
and
my,
it's really not about making the most beautiful drawing. It's about
yes,
making meaning, right? The
yes.
marks are meaning makers, right? So it doesn't have to look, I used to make a joke that it doesn't have to look like Picasso, but then again, Picasso puts
So
eyeballs under your armpit, right? So that's a bad example.
well, you say, and I love this, all you need to do is you just need a pen and paper, and it's
Yep.
so simple in a few quiet minutes, and you just go in and you start the process, and all the pressure is off. And for a
Yeah.
kid who was a perfectionist, as somebody who, like, tried to control things, that's how I found safety and all that stuff. My nervous system, when I'm doing these exercises, when I'm doing, the art of manifesting, as you call the AM method, I just find like my whole nervous system just kind of like
It
quiets
regulates.
down and it relaxes like so much. Have you found that? You get that
Well, that's
feedback
how
a
come I
lot?
did this. This came about because I had anxiety during the pandemic. We were doing all these like big events online all the time, and I was giving really too much, right?
Yes.
And I really feel the feelings of everybody, and I needed an outlet. So I signed up for a painting class. I never finished it because I went off and did my own thing. After like I think it was 13 steps, I did 4 steps and off I went. Right. But anyway, I started painting, and painting changed me. I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And I wasn't even thinking about anything. So then a year later, I broke my foot and I
Mm,
couldn't stand in front of my canvas. And I'm like, but this is one of my paintings behind me, right?
yeah.
Anyhow, so I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I started going down the rabbit hole, and I wanted to understand, why is it that doing art, same thing, because I'm a musician too, and making music, creating music or doing art, but mostly just doing simple. Because this is 1,111 prayer marks. This is all marks. The thing behind me,
Yes.
people sent in prayers, and I would just mark the canvas until it became that thing. So just
Wow.
marking without any thought, right? Mark. How that could just be like I let go, and I'm in a flow state where I couldn't make myself go there, because half the time, whenever I get stressed out, I can't remember my tapping. I can't remember what the hell things that even I've come up with to help you. Like I don't remember the protocols. My brain it goes right. So
Yes.
I needed something, and then I did the research while I was in bed. I couldn't move, so I was like, okay, where is this information? And sure enough,
The
you know,
neuroscience of it all.
neuroscience, exactly, which is what went into the book. Because I mean, and I know the book can be quite heady, but I know that manifestation has been taught by so many people, which is a head exercise. It talks about only in the head. And
Yes.
I wanted it to be an embodied practice because that's how I know it works.
Yes.
Right. But we also wanted the science behind it, because there's enough naysayers as, oh, that's just new age gobbly crap. But I'm
Yes.
like, no, there's real science behind this. That really is true. And it's just the one thing we don't understand is the universe. It's always going to be ineffable until one day somebody figures it out, whatever. We don't understand consciousness with a capital C. We don't know why synchronicities and coincidence happen. All we know is that we're in a dialogue with the universe. And that's what this facilitates, but not in a difficult way.
Yes. I
It's
think
simple.
yes, and I think that's what I love about it. So, I'm a spiritual mentor and an integrative coach and a hypnotist, whatever. So, neuroscience is part of my bag
Right?
too. So, when you're saying it's really heady, I didn't actually think it was that heady. I think it's really clarifying for a lot of people. And I think for people who there's a whole bunch of us that are like, that's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm making marks on. But there's a whole population of people that are like, I want to know why it works.
Good. Well, that's who
That's
I
right.
wrote this for.
Yeah, that's how I want to get behind the idea because, I'm married to a professional musician. And so I know that, and I'm a writer, so I know the power of
Right?
like art and creativity for helping us. But one of the things I want to dive into is something that you just said about manifestation, because
Right.
my whole thing about manifestation is I've always been kind of like not that much of a fan, and not to shit on people. Like,
No, I
I
get
think
it.
that book, The Secret, like a bunch of people learned about it that way. But I think what happened is one of the things that I often say to people is like, look, manifesting the way that that was taught, I was like, look, God's not your fucking errand boy.
No,
We're
it's not
not,
Uber
we're,
Eats.
we're not here to like just place your order at Dunks and then you sit back and wait for your riches and your Maserati or whatever to come for you. I'm like, that's not how it is. And then the other feelings that I had, and I'm saying these in case anybody else out there listening might relate, is I used to be like, well, if you're grasping and wanting and you need to
Yeah.
manifest something, I'm like, first of all, it
Nope.
assumes you're coming from a place of
Gonna
lack.
run away. It's gonna run
Right,
away.
exactly. So this is why I'm saying it, because I want you to counter all of these things. And then it's like there's also kind of that element where it's lacking gratitude for what you already have. So what I loved about this method, and each time I get to take a class with you, it's like so fun because I get to see it and learn it in a, because like the thing with Mindy, the new vision board and the spiral meditation, they're all little doorways into the
Yeah.
deeper practice. So I just wanted to keep experiencing it. But my favorite thing that happened, and I'll hold up this again, which I loved. So if you're not looking at this right now, you guys, if you can only hear the sound of my voice, just imagine that there's a mark, a dot in the center of a page. Okay. And then around that dot is a larger circle. But then on the outside of that larger circle, there's a box. Now, this was my favorite thing about this whole thing. To
Yeah.
me, and please correct me if I'm wrong, what I loved about this box represents to me, I'm not saying this is what you taught, but my take on it was, oh yeah, these are like my limitations and
Yeah.
beliefs. So my dreams can't really go outside that
Outside
line.
that
That's
box.
the kid that colors inside the lines. Now, two things, and then I'm gonna shut up so you can talk. I remember, well, first of all, there's a line in A Course in Miracles that basically talks about not that we shouldn't judge, but that we can't judge because we don't know everything. We
Right.
don't know have all the information. Okay. And then number two, I remember once when Oprah said, God dreams a bigger dream for me than I dream for myself.
Right.
Okay. What I loved about this, again, you guys, I'm pointing at the box, is that I'll never forget on the thing, on the workshop, you said, leave room on the edges of the box because that's where the co-creation with divine intelligence, that loving intelligence, the universe, source, God, whatever you call it, right? Love lives. And that to me just like literally my creativity just went like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I can't know everything. I have no idea what's coming down the pike. I don't even know what I'm capable of. So will you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I'd love to. So let's go back now for everything. You started this entire conversation talking about the secret. And
Yes.
I love that you said it that way because I know that the universe is not Uber Eats,
Yeah.
right? We know this, right? But what it did was at the time we were in a if you think about when it came out in 2006, this
Yeah.
is a couple of years before the big crazy bank, the whole the schmozzle with the
Collapse.
banks,
Yeah.
yeah, the collapse, financial collapse. And we were since the 90s, we were very much in an acquisitional mindset, right? Go get something. I'm going to go get something. I'm going to make this thing happen. Hustle, hustle, hustle. So it made sense that the people that when they read that book, that's where they were coming from anyway. I can see that and I can have it. So like you said, I'm gonna put my order in at Dunkin's and wait for it to show up, right? And like your Maserati and I love that, right? I can't do your accent, but it's so
Okay.
great. I could listen to you talk all day. Anyway, and I got a Canadian one, so whatever.
Yeah.
So what happens is that you have to unlearn that.
Yes.
All right. Because that's about control. That's not about co-creation, right? That experience is looking, you are grabbing certainty and control. That's what you want. You want to know that you can get what you want, right? And what you want is going to be that thing. Now, definitely some, things are easy to quote unquote get if you have no attachment to them and they're just a thing. I always get a parking space. I always find the thing in the store that I like. I just go bang, put it out there. I'm going to just go with my little nose. If it's meant to be, it will be there. If it's not there, I don't give a shit. Off I go. But when you look at this as a tool to co-create reality, you have to learn something new. And that is what I have learned. Like I learned how to do all this stuff 40 years ago when I got clean and sober. I went to Unity Church. right? I did the Course in Miracles. I did a whole shemazel, right? And actually, I think Marianne had just done her book, A Return to Love, because I got
Came
sober in
out
1980.
it
When
came
was
out
it?
in 91. It came out in
Oh, 91.
91.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
was only
91,
5 years sober.
92. Yes.
I got sober in 1986. So she was writing it.
Yes.
But it was like, okay. So I went to Unity. I learned all this stuff about treasure maps and whatever. And they were talking about alignment, right? But they didn't really explain it that good. I still was like, I want that. Go get it, right? I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it, right? And so what I learned, I've done over 40 of these vision boards, for example, but what I learned, I kept challenging it. What's missing here? What is missing? If I look back on every, because I got literally every single thing that I put on the boards, the things that were right for me came to be, but they weren't always. 90% of the time were not anything the way I thought they were going to be.
Okay, I'm gonna be rude and interrupt because I remember you told the story about your sweetie, how like he
Yeah,
was the
blonde.
total opposite of like what you would normally, like desire or whatever.
Yeah. So exactly. So that, but here's the thing. When I tracked it, everything happened through synchronicities. It didn't happen because Colette made it happen. It didn't happen because I said, I want it, now give it to me. It happened because I became the person
Yes.
that could have the thing that I said I wanted. And thank God I didn't get like the record deal that I wanted so badly for 20 years. When it came, it would have destroyed me had I got this before, because the music business ate me up and chewed me up and spit me out.
Yes.
Right. I mean, the whole thing, that's all I wanted, was to be a singer songwriter. And I had a career and stuff. And the career, all the feelings that I wanted that career to give me showed up in this weirdo career that I didn't want. I used to tell people, I don't really do this. I'm really a singer. Don't come back next year. I don't do this. Right. Like, I don't really talk to dead people. Oh, no. Like, I'm
It's
just really good at picking out information and stuff. And they're like, well, I don't know. I was like, no. And the universe, like, hello, see this over there. This is kind of good, but no. Anyway, so I'll tell you. So what I learned was every single thing that I thought I believed that the record deal, the things that I wanted were going to
yes.
give me, I
Yes.
got in a different way, in a form that was right for me. Not only right for me, it was 10 times better. I got a life
Yes.
bigger than my wildest dreams. And guess what? I still do music. I'm going to record an EP in 2 weeks. I do
That's
it because I
wicked
love it,
exciting.
but I just do it because
Congratulations.
I love it. But you know what I mean? It's no longer, my identity is no longer
Yes.
dependent on that. So when people come to manifestation,
Yes.
they have to let go the need for, they have to recognize the zone of synchronicity, which is what that's called, by the way. And yes, the internal thing is the limitations, but in a vision board, when you put a border, you're doing it for a specific purpose, because you're telling the universe you would like whatever you place inside
Inside.
that border to come into form. Because manifestation is to call into ordinary reality from non-ordinary reality, into visibility from invisibility. You want to see it materialize. So, but you're right, that's a limitation. I don't know what I could have beyond what my imagination allows.
Yes.
That's
That's
why
how I meant it. That's how
yeah,
I mostly meant it, is that like my imagination is like this, right? Which is, and also
same.
a lot of that comes from your cultural, your upbringing, your environment as a child, right? Like if you don't think, right, I'm worthy of more than this or whatever, your dreams will be, and I'm not saying everybody has to have a wicked big dream, but my point was like just with that boundary, what I loved, you called it what, the field of synchronicity around
No,
it,
the zone of
the zone of
synchronicity,
synchronicity. Like that is where
but it is the field.
yeah,
Yeah.
that right. Some people call it the quantum field, right? But that to me is like the divine intelligence's playground. And I'm like, that I don't want to limit that. So that to me was that missing piece that you were talking about.
But also the embodiment practice, because we stay in our heads all the time. Like most division, most teachers teach manifestation from this level,
100%.
right?
She's pointing at her head,
Visualize.
you guys, the neck up,
Yeah,
basically. Yes.
visualize, think about it, obsess about it, stare at it, get really specific, right? And then very little is taught about letting it go and not caring, okay? Because that's really needed. But that's why a lot of people think it doesn't work. But the truth is, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. And
Okay,
sometimes,
Colette, hold on. I want them to hear that very, very clearly. Will you say that line one
Yeah.
more time, please, for the people in
I
the
am not the
back?
first person to say this,
I
just so you
know, I
know.
know.
But actually, I heard it first from Wayne Dyer. You don't manifest what you want,
Yes.
you manifest what you are. And what that means is that your energy, the rehearsal state that you are in, where you are constantly thinking about things, the things that you rehearse over and over again, your beliefs, that's why it's so dangerous. Like, get off social media, get off the news. Like, don't let that decide for you your narrative, right? But whatever narrative that you keep telling over and over again is what's going to come to you, because that's the frequency that you're sending out, you're broadcasting, and then
Okay.
the field responds. It responds back. It always is responding to us 24/7. You want something different outside, you got to change the inside.
Okay, perfect. Two things I want to do. So that the science equivalent of that is Rick Hansen, who always says neurons that fire together wire
Wire together.
together, right? So if we're constantly like focusing on what we don't want, it's like when you're a kid, right? And you're in the car and you're playing, they're like all of a sudden, like you don't notice any of the little Volkswagens until somebody yells, punch buggy. And then
Right?
what you're looking for, that's all you see is like punch buggy, punch buggy, punch buggy. But sometimes when you're focusing on what you don't want, your fear, your doubt, your cynicism, whatever, it's important that we, check ourselves because of that negativity bias in the brain to be looking
Yes.
looking for the good, the beautiful, and the holy. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like,
It's harder, and it's
right.
harder because of the way we're built.
Yes.
Right? We are built, the negativity bias allows us to stay alive, right? So when we're on patrol looking for potential threats, it's because we're trying to survive. But
Sure.
we can't be intuitive, by the way, when we're like that. We're in the instinct for survival. Intuition depends on our curiosity. And seriously, really, really spot on. Intuition comes with a regulated nervous system. When you just oh, hey, boo, and you're curious. You can't be curious when you're looking for something that there's a knife around the corner. It's like, where's that knife? Not like, oh, I wonder what's there.
Exactly. Well, my second one, my number two was because you said the field. And will you just dive into that a little bit for people who might not know what you're talking about?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about it in different language, right?
Okay.
So if you look at, we are part of a quantum field. So let's go to quantum science, which means we're not separate from each other. It's very hard to imagine that, because I see you in your pink sweater over there and you see me in my green sweater over here, and I'm not there and you're not here, and therefore we're separate, right? That's like, we are built also kind of weird. I don't understand why they built us like this, but whatever. Is that we can't see that we're not, that our connections, we can't really see that. So not only that, we've all been raised to see everything as separate, right?
Yes.
Including consciousness. But if you go to the quantum field and you see that literally everything is connected all the time. So let's take the word quantum out of it, because then we get all too weird about like, what is quantum science? But how about just looking at, and Lynn McTaggart is the perfect author for you
Yes.
guys to read. She has a book called The Intention Experiment and a book called The Field. And she's a science researcher. Fabulous books. It's like you're going on a mystery adventure. And you start to realize that there is a proven field of connection that exists in the world between all biological, that we can tell. Even the grass is sentient, it feels us, and it can play music and all kinds of weird shit that you go like, I don't understand that, but you just have to just go with me on this.
Yes.
So the invisible world, just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Double
Yeah,
amen hands. Yes, I'm with you.
right.
Yep.
So if we can imagine it, we can bump into it pretty easy, because part of our brain's job, the reticular activating system of the brain, is to guide our eyes to what we have rehearsed as true. It's a feedback system to say, okay, what you believe, all the fear that we had, like it's a bouncer at a party. It'll only let in the fear people, because, and then it goes, see over there, more reasons to be afraid, bring them into the party. But now when you start to rehearse gratitude, which is what we talk about in the book, and you have to make a discipline of doing that for nothing, no other reason, just to be in that state of being. All of a sudden, he kicks everybody out of the party and goes like, okay, all you grateful people, grateful experiences, come on in, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to light up the runways. You got to go there. You would have gone over there, but now you're in this frequency. We're showing you all this because the world has everything. The world does not just have what we are being fed on media. Like we're being fed garbage food. Okay. Like this world
Table
is
scraps, man. Table scraps.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
Not even. And for a reason. It's like if you keep a population afraid and divide it, easy to
control us.
So don't do that. The thing is like, okay, fine. I'm powerless to change any of that, but this and that can both be true. I can be in absolute immense gratitude while all that shit's going on. And I can still see the runway of where I need to go for the miracle. The miracles are endless and they are there. They are always there. We have to become that person. I always say to myself, who would I need to be to have that experience I want? Right? Like I would need to be, would I need to be different at all? Would I need to be fearless? Would I need to be? So then it's like acting. It's like, okay, who would Colette be in those shoes?
Yes.
You know?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, Rabindranath Tagore, he says this great quote that I share with my clients, and he says, everything that belongs to you, everything that is yours will come to you if you create the capacity to receive it.
Correct.
And Bingo. Right? Does that make sense? So like what it's vibe. Like, and what you're saying is like, who would I have to be in order to, whether you want to call it attract or relate to, or that same energetic field or vibe that it will happen. And so often we're looking from that place of lack or fear or whatever.
Yeah, that's going to fix me, that thing.
Yes, I'm broken. We have that idea, quote unquote, we're broken. This thing is going to fix me. I need this to be whole, happy, healthy, healed, holy, whatever the thing is. And it's like we forget. And if we can bring ourselves into it, and that's why I love it. But like I love all of it. But I think the thing I love most is that it's fun. And it's like flowy.
We
and
need
it's
fun
free.
Right now.
It's wicked fun. And like, so on that note, and this might be a little weird. I've never done this on a podcast before, but people are like loving the book. And so I went to like Amazon. I'm like, I want to check out some of these reviews. And I'm going to read.
I never read them.
I know, but I'm going to read you a good one. I get very
freaked out because I don't read them.
I know. I'm going to read you a good one because
read me a good one.
You're getting a fantastic review. But why I'm also reading it is it kind of breaks down the book a little bit. So it's not too long, but just hear it.
Yeah.
This person said, if you love creative outlets and are interested in manifestation and the power of the mind, Colette Baron-Reid's book, The Art of Manifesting, is right up your alley. It's not just another manifestation book. It introduces this thing called the Art of Manifesting method, the AM method, which is basically, and you can correct any of this if this person got it wrong, but which is basically a meditative drawing practice. The whole idea is that you use intentional, simple drawings like circles and flowy lines as a tool to literally rewire your brain and create the reality you want. It blends creativity, all my favorite things right here. It blends creativity and spirituality with an interesting bit of neuroscience, explaining how you can use this simple art to carve out new neural pathways, break old patterns, and align your intentions with the universe.
Wow.
I know. Well, listen, this is great.
Who is this person? I love them.
It includes a gentle 7-week guide that walks you through the 7 steps of manifestation using guided drawings, meditation, and journaling. It reminds me in some ways of Julia Cameron's, The Artist's Way.
I love seeing them.
And that you don't need, I know, it says, in that you don't need to be an artist to enjoy the benefits of using these techniques. Right. All you need is a pen and paper. If you're looking for a peaceful, joyful, and deeply creative way to manifest change and feel more like the shaper of your destiny, you would absolutely love this.
Wow.
Didn't she nail it?
They should get 10 free books.
That's what I'm saying.
So you know what? Here's what's been happening. So, okay. So I'm really glad that you're a total nerd too. So, I had just been told before I got on the show that by somebody else that this book might be too smart. And I'm like, oh, really?
No.
But anyway, yeah, good. Thanks. Okay. So then I'm like, I don't write for everybody, but whatever. Here we go. So when the book came out, this is, people don't expect me to write a book on art. They would expect me to write about oracles or something like that. But
Sure.
this is really my jam. And I've been obsessed with this for 2 years before I got a book deal on it. Because I just started teaching people this thing. Then I hooked up with Anna Denning and we added two components that weren't there before, which was the Reiki in the beginning, like the
Yeah, the hands, how
activation,
you
all
activate the
that.
field.
Yeah,
And yeah,
right.
yeah.
Doesn't that feel amazing? Anyway, so and then the two of us, because I knew I needed a partner, and she just showed up. We both manifested the other one. Anyhow, so people started having parties. My girlfriend in LA called me and she goes, "I need a box of books. I'm having a party. I'm inviting everybody over." And so they all did it. And then one of the women at the party, so there were like 15 of them. She had a brunch, was hosting a brunch. She bought the books and did it at brunch. And what they did was use seed paper. So seed paper is these pieces of paper that have wildflower seed
Yes.
squished in it. And so
Yeah.
what they're going to do is they're going to draw their desire, like really the desired outcome is feelings. Like it's really about
Yes.
how do you want to feel? You can put something on there like money or whatever you want, right? But at the end of
Sure.
the day, it's how do you want to feel and what is
Yes.
it that you're trying to express through you, right?
Yes.
Anyway, so they're all planting their things in these little planters. So, but it's taken off as a party thing
What?
with women, mostly women. I don't know any guys that are doing it. Well, no, that's not true. I had two men come to an event in Spain and they were drawing with us. And my husband loves doing this too, him and his friend, but it's mostly women that come. But anyhow, so it's the coming together with friends
Yes.
and sitting at the table talking about.
Well, I had my
Yeah.
best friend. I wrote to my
Okay.
best friend. I was like, KT, you got to hop on this, the one in January about the art of manifest, the new way of
Yeah.
like vision
Yeah.
boarding. I said, hop on this. I go, what did you think? She's like, I loved it. And I was like, I mean, this, I'm like, I pay attention wicked closely. So I'm like, oh yeah, I could figure out the steps. I got the book, whatever. But then I saw that you and Anna are actually doing a teacher training on this.
Yes. Our first teacher
I'm
training.
like, I don't know, maybe I want to do that. That sounds wicked
You can
fun, you
come.
know?
Well, you can come to the one in June. Hay House is running the June one. This was our beta group. So we thought we were going to get 20 teachers. We had 150 applicants. And we didn't
Wow.
even tell anybody. We just sort of announced it under we talked about it. Anyway, so we ended up taking just under 50. And the idea is that we want people to become ambassadors, but we get really nerdy in that one. Like every
Yeah.
single step, we go into the background, where it's shown up in different cultures, why this is part of us, and why it actually works. And then we just do a simple like, here's how you would run a group, and then make sure everybody in the group gets a book. But we're having so much fun too
Ah,
because yeah, like, yeah, learn if you become a teacher, it's really about the why we train you is so you understand what you're doing. It
yes.
doesn't really go through all that really deeper layers that in the book at all. Like we have nerd alerts in the book, right?
Sure.
Like, hey, nerd alert, this is what
Yes.
neuroscience says. And but you go really, and we were even amazed ourselves. Like we still can't get over it. Me and her, we're like, we freaking manifested this.
Wow, I think it's so cool that actually, that the two of you like came together, because you're both artists in your own way,
She's
right? Like you're both,
amazing.
yeah, it's incredible. And one of the things I also loved about the 7 steps is like
Yeah.
it's not passive. Like you have like
No.
number 4, activate your intention. Number 6, create an action plan. And then 7, like surrender to the universe. Like you got to let go of whatever you think the thing is, right? So I love the 7 steps. I think it's such a smart and fun. And if you're nerdy, you can geek out on some of the things and understand like, and I think all of us, like when you think back to where we were kids, when you're
Right.
just on the phone and you would just doodle, or you'd
Yeah.
be
I
in
doodled all the
class,
time.
your imagination, that's just your daydreaming and your imagination, which is literally when you're shifting out of that like beta state and you're dropping into like alpha and theta where the imagination is and
Yeah.
everything becomes possible and to be guided in such a simple and fun way. Like I'm saying, like I was just like, even when I was just doodling on the anxiety one, I'm like, oh, this would be so great for my clients who have anxiety. It's just
Yeah,
such a simple
totally.
little thing, like to do. And I just think it's so fantastic. And I love that it's, oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, no,
Oh,
it's like, well, I of course always want to say
yeah, go
something
ahead.
like
Me too.
that.
Go
You and
ahead.
I are the same. Like we just want to talk. No, but I think what you nailed was the fact that it is fun and it enables you to get out of that. It's a stress response. And I think everybody right now, I don't care what you think,
Yes.
all of us have been under sustained uncertainty for such a long time now. And the body has not been created to experience
Yes.
dysregulation that way
For
all
this
the time.
long.
And then now it becomes, if you look at the internet, like I don't have TikTok. I think it's an assaulting thing, so I don't have it. But I know I'm on it. But my team has me on there. But
Yes.
it's like I do know that if I look at Facebook or Instagram where I am, I'll see ads for like shred and regulate your system. So that becomes a chore. Like we don't need more like work. We need flow. Like right now, we need a very easy, feminine way to get regulated. That's fun, and we can let go, and we don't have all these rules, and we can just make marks. And when we make those marks with intention, then synchronicity, and then the whole point of this entire exercise is that you start to notice that the universe responds to you, and if nothing else, it answers you in ways like my favorite story is, so this was the first book I've ever written. I've written 8 books and 19
Yes.
texts, and I never ever in a million years expected a New York Times bestseller, nor really wanted one because I just didn't think that was my thing, right? But this is the first time I thought, yeah, this book could do that one day. So I do a little drawing, and then I show my head of my brand at Hay House, and I said, I think I am gonna, because I've been saying, oh, I don't care about that. I'm going, what, it would be nice. I think it would be really cool if I got one. So I
Yeah.
did a little New York Times drawing in my drawing, and then I showed her, and we had a laugh. You would figure in a couple of years, maybe, I don't know, right? And then 2 hours later, my Beth writes me, and it says the New York Times would like to invite you to teach their
Yes.
staff.
I remember you telling this story. Keep going. It's so good.
Right? That's teach their staff, like in their Healthy Times program. I mean, the motive behind this was New York Times and reach more people. Because that's what I thought would happen. If I got a New York Times bestseller, that means lots more people would see the book.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I really wanted New York Times and I wanted more people. Well, there's probably 15 people going to be there, and it's the New York Times. I got exactly what I asked for. Right. And I'm like, oh, and I think the only reason it happened is because the universe said, you need a good story to tell people. And that is the perfect example of letting go the attachment to the form and seeing all of it as an adventure. Like, wow, like surprise me. I was
I
very surprised.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, and these are some of your words that went on this drawing, on this one, where I wrote some of the things you did. You wrote surprise me. Thank you. Wow, wow, wow. Divine will. Big surprise. Spirit have a plan. It's like spirit has a
Right.
plan. Gratitude, love, reciprocity, the zone of synchronicity, gratitude bubbles, like all of it. And it's like it's so what I love so much about the process too is whenever you're doing the little gratitude bubbles and you're
Oh,
just
don't you get
training your
you right?
brain. You know, Meister
Thank
Eckhart
you. Thank
says, if the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, it will be enough. And
Yeah.
when you're just saying thank you, thank you, thank you with those little bubbles, thank you literally start to feel a shift inside of you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's practical, it's powerful, it's super duper fun. You just get out your favorite markers, your favorite paper. It's like being a little kid again. I mean, we're circling
Yeah.
back to where we started, but it's intentional. But what I love about it is it's intentional without the tight grip.
The
It's
tight grip. Exactly.
intentional, but it's open. I always say, like, love doesn't happen in this state. I'm clenching my
Oh.
fist, you guys. It happens like,
Open
yeah,
handed. And we didn't, when Anna and I got together, like Anna she's also an aesthetic coach, and she used to teach a Russian form of line art. She teaches lots of different line arts, right? But and I had kind of dabbled and looked to see if I like it, and I didn't like it because it was too many rules, because it was too heady. And then
yes.
I thought, then I loved Zentangle. That was very mindful. It was its own thing. And then, like all their own things. There's Noodle, no, not Noodle, Zen Doodle.
Neurography.
No,
Yeah.
there's Zen
Zen
Doodle,
doodle.
Neuro Doodles, Neurographica. And
Yeah.
so, there's lots of different types of these intentional art processes. And so when she and I got together, I said to her, I said, what I really want is something where people don't feel that
Doing it wrong.
news, that of perfectionism, that they could feel looser and feel freer and more liberated and more unique to them, right? That it was something that, like, there's a lot of them, you're not allowed to put glitter. If you want to throw glitter all over your, go right ahead. You know what I mean? It's like there are no rules. Like, oh, I wanted no rules because I hate rules, but there has to be containers. So our
Yes.
steps were the container that invited in the experience, right? Then those steps, I swear to God, we literally both just prayed. Her and I, like, I watched a video with her. This is how
Yes.
it happened. So I joined her membership, and I didn't like the rule-based stuff, but she had other things that was very not rule-based. She was like doing all kinds of really cool things. So I just joined her membership. And one day there was a video of her talking about doing a drawing about her work and bringing in, I don't know who's coming in, but I feel someone is coming. I don't know how it's going to expand my work. And then I'm looking at it going,
It's
it's, and it turned out she had my cards. She didn't look at who signed up to her thing, right? So she didn't know I was in there.
oh my
And
God.
anyway, I wrote to her and I said, like, hey, can we have a call? Like, my name is Colette Baron-Reid. She goes, what's your name? And she had a stack of my Oracle cards and everything. And I just said, this is what I feel. And I know this sounds crazy, but I've been obsessed with this. I've made my own thing, but I don't think it's finished. And want to come
Yes.
in. And then her and I both were doing two things that were not in the way, the present state of what I was teaching. I was like, oh my God.
This is it.
And then Hay House offered me the book deal, and I brought her in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't make this shit up. Like
You
it's like
can't.
you just don't. And I talk about it all the time. I'll say, "Oh, the assignment is alignment." And I was raised by like my nana. Well, I have like a step side of the family. I'm apparently not an Italian kid or Portuguese kid, but I'm an Irish kid who was also raised in family, with Italian and Portuguese. My little nana was like, I call her like a little Italian witch. And
Okay, I love it.
she used to do like the Malukis, and she taught me like how to, she would do the
The
evil eye stuff
Malocchio.
and like, yeah,
Yeah. The
exactly. And
evil eye.
exactly. And like she taught me how to like bless houses and do these little things. So I grew up in a family that grew up knowing psychics, friends with these people who had these gifts. And so it was very normalized for me. But I
Yeah.
know for a lot of people, it's like, ooh, what's this like woo-woo stuff? And I just think there's
Don't
something.
poo-poo the woo-woo.
I always say, know what I say? I go, it's not woo woo, it's true true. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
But I just love that you're bringing this to like a wider audience in a way that I think is you know what? It's smart, but smarty pants can also be super fun, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like terrible or wicked hard. But
And
I
I think
know.
it's also, sorry, I think it's
No, good.
also, you know, people tend to be superstitious about this because of their religious upbringing.
Yes.
And like I have two women, well, one woman who works for me, who runs my membership, is a Bible study teacher, like very Christian. Like you can make Jesus your manifesting
Uh,
partner if you want. Like it's like that's the other thing. It's like if you believe, if you are going to hold space and believe that this is true for you, then this is going to show up for you. I mean, that's how I learned this in Unity Church, right?
mhm.
It is non-denominational. And I mean, I think if I wasn't this, I would have been an interfaith minister because I was really fascinated with that. But the universe had better plans. But
Yes, me
I'm so
too.
interested in what is it that, because there is a mystical quality to Islam, to Judaism, to Christianity. There's all of every single faith construct
I believe you too.
has that more Gnostic, personal connection. Right from the beginning of time, we've been trying to figure out our relationship to that which is unknowable,
That's right.
right? The ineffability of God.
Yes,
I don't have a problem with that word,
me either.
right? Yeah. So it's like for me, it's God. I'm like, I surrender my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand God. And then I ask God to use me as thou wilt. And I used to go, use me as thou wilt. P.S. I want a record deal, but that's
Right.
not, you know what I'm saying? P.S. I have ideas in
Yeah.
case you're curious.
Yeah.
In case you're too busy, I have a list.
P.S. In case you want to consult with me,
Yeah. Hey, I have
let's
some
do it. I got
ideas.
some ideas. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Like,
I agree with
what?
everything you're saying.
And I liked something you said earlier. I don't think everybody needs a big giant dream. right? What the hell is a big giant dream anyway, right? It's important that you have your dream.
That's
It's
right.
important that, because guess what? Like I got here from years and years and years. I used to charge $20 an hour for my readings. I thought that was, I moved it to 25 and I thought I was going to throw up because I
Right.
thought that was too much. Right. Like I came from, I mean, I came from privilege prior to that, but then we lost everything. And I had poverty experiences too. And like, but for me, it was never about that. It was about feeling that I had, my life had meaning. And that's really what all of us want.
Yes.
We want a life that's got meaning. We want love in our lives. We want
100%.
to be in awe and in
Wonder
gratitude
and
and
creativity, all of
wonder.
it. Yeah.
That's what I want to boil it down to. And because
Yes.
I think we all got very complicated
Look at,
about, right? I
yeah.
mean, the
I'm
world is pretty fucked up right now. Let's just be
The
honest.
world is so fucked up right now, and which leads me back to something that you said, which I want to reiterate for people. And then I know I got to let you go because you have a hard stop.
Yeah,
But
yeah, thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. I'm tracking the time up here. If you see my eyes looking up, that's what I'm looking at. But when you are in a constant state of when the sympathetic nervous system, right, that fight and flight, I'm not teaching you. I'm saying this for the listeners. When you're in that constant fight or flight where you're feeling triggered or activated or in fear or whatever, like something that you said, which is like, that's why you don't remember to do your EFT tapping and your four,
Yeah, I
seven,
couldn't remember
eight
any of
breath
it.
and your havening and your stroking and
Right. I know, like
all the
the
tools, right? Like all the
triple
tools kind of go,
warmer. Where the hell did you go?
all the tools go out the window when you're in that fear state. And one of the great things about this work is it literally turns on parasympathetic nervous system. It literally invites in the relaxation response without having to overthink it. It's like literally
Yeah.
pick up a pen, pick up some paper,
Go around and
start to make
round.
the marks, and you literally just feel a shift inside of you. And for those of you who are listening, Colette and Anna are actually doing a live immersive virtual experience on Saturday, March
March.
7th. You can sign up for that. All her links will be in the show notes. You guys, you'll be able to find everything. But before I let you go, I just want to ask you, is there anything I didn't ask you that you wish I had? Anything I didn't bring up that you wish we
No,
had
I don't.
talked about?
I just think you're awesome. And I never
Oh.
come in here thinking that. I just believe that whatever comes out of our mouths is exactly what needed to come out.
Yeah, me
I
too.
just
I
know. I think
trust.
I trust.
Okay. I just wanted
I
to make
trust
sure though. And
fully. You were
yeah,
amazing. I loved you.
thank you,
I
sweetheart.
go have coffee with you,
I know. Well, I
except we
know.
live in different.
We'll have to find each other somehow. Look, our paths will cross in real
I
life.
know.
I believe that. I believe that. But so you guys, look at you got to get this book. I know so many of you already love all of her tarot cards, like the animal spirit ones. Yep, her book. Go get this sucker. We're both holding it up at the same
Yeah,
time. Go get
because
this
we've been.
sucker. It's so fantastic. Sign up for the Saturday, March 7th if you want to experience this yourself, so you can have your own personal experience and see what I'm talking about. And it is. And as a yoga teacher since like 1999, the embodied experience is what we're really looking for. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you turn yourself over to the process, I believe that you will have a shift and you will experience what we're talking about. It's not just like just give it a try is all I'm saying. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And is there your favorite way to have people contact you or connect with you? Is
Just
your
follow
website?
me on Instagram, Facebook, and Instagram and Facebook. Don't go to TikTok. I mean, it's
Yeah.
there, but whatever. I don't understand it. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, my website. Actually, if you sign into my newsletter, you get a bunch of free stuff there. And if you're interested, there's a free, if you want to do it before you come to the event, March 7th. But if you go to colettebaronreid.com/book, if you get the book, you just have to put in your receipt and you get video stuff, you get all kinds of stuff that would help you and fun. And it's fun. I'm glad you kept saying
It's
fun.
wicked fun. Well, it is wicked fun. It is,
And
but
it's
you
fun.
guys look at the drawings, you know? And I
Yeah.
will tell you this too, for those of you who are listening. If you go to wherever you can buy books online, right? I'm not going to say the name, but a lot of the reviews, people are also submitting next to the reviews their artwork, and it's amazing.
They are?
I have like 4 pictures on my desktop right here.
Oh
I
my
was pulling them
God.
on
I
the
have to
internet.
look.
Yeah, so the reviews have been lovely, and people are putting incredible pictures on there too. So you guys, if
Oh
you want to check
wow.
it out,
Okay.
if
I've
you're
been
a
always
listener,
too, I don't like to look in case there, I
I
know it sounds,
understand.
you know what I mean? I
I
just like
understand
people are weird.
because
I
people are
never
not
like to
always
look at,
nice.
no.
People can be kind of dicks sometimes, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? All right, so I gotta let you. Oh my God, please, will you just introduce everybody? Oh my God.
I want to say, me and Bizou would like to say bye. And if you see us, if you can see us right now, this is my little baby, and she's being called for supper. You want to get num nums with daddy? There you
You
go.
guys, if you just saw the little creature that she held in your hands, you know I'm a mess right now. I'm dying. I'm obsessed. Colette, thank you so much for
Oh,
being
thank
here.
you.
I always end my show by saying, wherever you go, may you leave the people and the animals and the place and the environment better than how you found it. Wherever you go, may you and your energy and your presence and your love be a blessing. Bye.
You are awesome.